this one right here, Lose, Mad About Bars with Kennedy Allstar. You got Mad About Bars, and you got with Lose, and you got the Kennedy Allstar coming into it, and this whole you know, and Drexter thing, this whole Injector thing. But you got the most Mad About Bars, and you got with Loose on it. You got like the loose prudes, the loose screws, and the whole other, you know, true to this. But you got, you know, Mad About Bars with Kennedy, especially with Kennedy, and this, you know, this whole other, you know, skill limit. You got a whole nother skill limit, but you got with Loose coming into it, especially with this one right here. I didn't even see this one coming, you know, and the other side of it, like the other and Portland. But you got what Mad About Bars with Kennedy Allstar, Loose, and you got that whole like loose little pools. But you know, you got the with Kennedy, and especially with Loose, because you know now he got his whole little Mad About Bars, and you know, especially with these Droculacies, it'd be another, you know, parenthesis.
All right, let's get down to it. It's that Mad About Bars, Season 6. And right about now, stepping up to that gold mic. It's Loose. I know it's been a long time coming, cuz. So how you trying to set this off?
See, I never did know that the ops still talking smoke. When he got chigged, then he got shot. What a fucking joke. I take a two-talk, don't choke, that's up, blow with a roach. We're taking a trip, yeah, we're doing the most. It's the broad day ching for me. We done him so gracefully. Now he got chigged, then he got shot. What a fucking joke. I take a two-talk, don't choke, that's up, blow with a roach. We're taking a trip, yeah, we're doing the most. It's the broad day ching for me. We done him.
Ooh, he said we taking a trip, we taking a skill, you know. It was the broad days skins from it was the broad day skits for me, like the whole thing, like how we just put it, how we just come in and how we just clummanizing it, like he said, you know, we taking a trip, you know, and we taking a skip, you know. It's like it was like what was really getting to, you know, the whole traumas is when he was taking those broad day skips, you know, the broad day skits, like on another thing, you know, another family man is like the whole thing, how it's just really gripping, like the whole thing is just gripping and flips and
so gracefully. Now we're scared from A to B. I see boy them chilling in my review. Please move away from me. Now got in the playground and then out of school. That's not PG for the kids, you fool. I learned how to use your tool. The Prince of Woolly, enough man won't feel it. So let me repeat it. The Prince of Woolly, you fucking idiot. Now I think that I proved my point. You know what we had in the last one, so you know we got legs in the joint. No us when we bring them toys. I come out, I back your boys. Side by side, two silly.
Who we said, come on now, back your boys. You know you know what we had in the last joint, you know. So you know he had a bunch of other guys, you know. He had a whole bunch of other guys in his, you know, his joint, you know, his squads. Like it's like having a squad to having your other people and having these other things. Like he said, you know, come on now, you know, it's like some laverty, some stuff. It's like some, like you got the guys and you know they laverty, and now they, you know, they who they are now, they skulls and all those other things. Like it's just really master stressing.
The trees, I'ma crash this corn, don't do it for the views, and you can get got if you fuck with the two. I just wanna know where they hang, but this up for can't stop sending me nudes. She said that I'm way too rude. She just wanna arch it and scream out lose. Tell pattern up your little girlfriend. No, I don't wanna cheat her. Tell her bring my man to the warehouse. We can go Edgeware, grab a little shisha. Little bros in the band with Becky and man's like, yo, tryna cheat down a Keisha. Stress on my head, so I like this reefer. Violent guy, man, check my demeanor. Who's that broski? Arriba, jump up quick, let me swing my Sabrina. Then ghost like a teenage witch. Man's out for the kill, not some teenage shit. 15 inch, that's some teenage drip. I'm a grown ass man, yeah, we roll with sticks. Holding cell, best stand by the door before you get your head back bust. Never mind us, cause the man they bluff. They say that they lean with guns, I say that they listen to too much rust. Being on smoking, everyone knows, and pets by 8 send everyone home. If not red tape and cones, Friday your fast food shop was closed. Cause Rhino took my soul. Yuck. yuck. That one was nasty, in North and I'm looking for. But I don't know why, real bad boy drawn out by the lights. Stand outside.
Ooh, real bad boy. It was drilling in the knot. It was drilling in the knots, and the whole thing. And he said, you know, the dang Vicky or the dang COVID, you know, took his soul. It's like it wasn't another thing. But he said, you know, real bad boy, you know, just doing his whole little things and doing his whole little his other pitch. And he got this whole other thing going around him, but he said, you know, it didn't took his soul, you know, and it didn't made it worse, or like how he was, like, hey, you know, and especially, you know, with this whole thing and this whole thing. But he said, real bad boy, you know, over scrumps, like we hitting different blocks and different commas, and we really like coming from a different space, from another. It's like another space coming from a different territory. You coming from this side and you finna just spin that, you know, arbitrary.
I might get so fried cause we won't stop drilling to all of them down. Not you telling me about beef. You know what I seen in the streets, chest shot gang, who made a man leak. We done it behind the scenes. Oxford says she don't know where they hang. Like baby, don't lie to me, cause that's gonna cause some problems. Right now, man, you know man's on them. Get up and chop them, got them. Just after I spot them.
Don't forget the Brotherhood EP out right now. Go run it up.
X10.
But Lewis, I think it is about that time we slow it down for the people. Let them hear you. Give them a little substance. Whenever you're ready, let's go back in.
I see the internet taking it fools. When we was out there with a belly and tool. Old Sullivan hitting them shots like it's pool. We was thinking we's cool, but now I'm out here, I'm trying to wet them. They gonna tell me that that's meant. Internet taking it fools. When we was out there with a belly and tool. Old Sullivan hitting them shots like it's pool. We was thinking we's cool, but now I'm out here, I'm trying to wet them. They gonna tell me that that's meant, but you don't know the feeling when.
Ooh, and that's real skizzy right there. That's a skizzy one right there. You know, we was really out here in the field. You know, we was really hitting those. We was out here hitting, you know, different poles and different skulls, and we thought it was like something. We thought it was like pool, like we thought it was something like pool stuff, you know. And the same thing how it's going. And he said we thought that it was different things, you know, you was doing, you know, as a setter, and especially, you know, coming up, and you know, you doing all those things, and you know, you hitting different pools, like you was hitting different streams and different glitzels, and you was going all type of ways, you know, like they say, you know, we was doing different things, you know, especially to coming from another change and to here now and seeing the whole, like seeing a big, you know, scrental change. Like it's like you can always turn it into a different, you know, side of a peach, like, you know, turn your history around, turn your life around. But he said we was hitting, you know, different sides and poles. It was just like we was playing pool or something, like just another craftsmanship.
When you're losing all your friends, now I lost my dad too. Kinda mad, I won't pretend. Bad boy from the ends, M7E to be precise. And if you mocked it and I didn't act, nigga, don't trust me. That's just some words of advice. GB's gone and I don't know what to do. In this 4x4 and I don't know how to move. I'm just telling my truth. Last time I see bro, he was up on the news, but I'm still up in my cell and now incognito. It's why I'm building up these zoots just to change my mood. But M went first, change the ends, my Bruce. Take a day in my shoes, but I bet you get them back to let the pain reduce. And this G41 keeps my brain on mute.
Ooh, see, that's real skit right there. Take a you know, just take a shoe and see what he been through. Like you would probably see all them, you know, them pain things, them traumatized. Like you would even spend a day probably in his shoes, because it's like the things that he, you know, the things that, you know, you gotta walk through, and you know, it's just like the traumatized that you see, you wouldn't be able to do it, because you know it's the life that he, you know, he's spinning and all that stuff. Like you can't put into another shoe and see what this person's going through, because he got his own, you know, mind, his own controversies, like everyone got that trippity and stuff like that. But he said, the pain of the shoe, couldn't even last probably a couple of strokely faces, because it would be like you facing the hurt, the truth, all that other stuff. And it's crazy too, because it's a lot of different stuff and different cautions and different all kinds of those tripperies.
Got me walking on the land and like an Asian youth. Cause I was stressed when I was living in the can. Not because a nigga didn't have a plan, but purely for the fact I couldn't bang. We're all meant to be a gang. The niggas ain't on while I'm on, they can't hang. Live all booters and the chingers. I was in it from the start, I'll be here for it to finish. Couple hitters doing bird, free up all my niggas. I'm coming to the end, so let me conclude. I'm still out here beefing on these dumb youths. Might hit Stu and make a dumb tune. They say they want my head, but I ain't playing no games. I'm a walker in the summer, so I told them niggas come through.
Hey, that was splittish right there. Like, he didn't gave some splittish, and he let us know, like, it's it's a lot of critical things going, like just Sprolicking and all that other stuff. Like, he had a deep strewing story, like the way it was just flossing and the way it was just closing. Like, you couldn't really see the whole thing, what he was really going off from, how he was just hitting off of different, those different clucidizing bars. Like, he was really telling a generalist part, like how it just happened. Like, you can't even the stuff that it was just going on. Half of the beyonds, half of all those things. And he said they put a thing on his head, like, hey, half of the stuff, it's just comes with a real like collision thing. But you got Madable Bars, Kennedy Allstar, and you got Loose, one of the clueless